And you're a fat gym owner for like 4 years.
Yeah, had crazy weight swings. I go fat, skinny, fat, skinny, fat, skinny.
It's great for marketing, though.
Honestly, people, they go, dude, that's fucking genius. I'm like, I did it by accident.
No, it is. Because especially when you sold those
It
programs.
seems like a totally different level of discipline.
Yeah.
And welcome back to another episode of The Careful Boys. And we are in our transition period, stories about transitions. And we're going to talk to Bart right now.
Tell us how you became
Our
trans.
Resident trans guys, Bart Tran.
Bart Tran.
There was clearly a moment in your professional career where you're predominantly doing everything social media, whether it be the skits, the sketches, the podcasts, the talking, the collaborations, the vlogging, all that stuff.
Mind if I vlog this?
I miss vlogging now.
Of course, there was a Venn diagram of mix over, but then a lot of what your attention, your energy, your business growth and development, and probably even money making turned into the fitness space. How did that transition come about? What were you experiencing during that time, and what was just kind of like the meat of that entire time frame?
I would say there's like a big catalyst moment. So I think in the back burner, fitness has always been there. I started lifting, working out when I was like 15, and I really got into like bodybuilding, and then with like wrestling, we do like strength and conditioning. So I just started to be exposed into like different types of training, and for some reason, I always just gravitated towards it. I don't know why, but I always really, really liked it. Maybe it has something to do with like me growing up with asthma too, where I always felt like I was like physically like a step behind, but through the right training, you can get a step ahead. And I was like, oh shit, like if you tinker with like this 4-banger Honda Civic, you can actually smoke like a fucking 8-cylinder muscle car if you just tinker with it enough. So I think there was always that part of it that I liked. So even when we started doing JK, it was always something that like I always worked out before we met and like film skits or whatever. It was always part of just my schedule, like non-monetized, no vision, no like trajectory or whatever. And I think fortunately with JK, one of the things that people always recognized was like, oh, Bart's like, drop your workout plan or whatever. And this is like back in 2007. Like the first day we started doing content, they'd be like, oh, Bart's jacked. Like, how much do you lift? Like that kind of like, you remember the
Meathead shit?
Yeah, the meathead memes back then. Like, do you even lift, bro? Like, from day one, I was already kind of like brought into that world, which is kind of cool. And then the big catalyst moment was in 2012, towards the end of the year. I don't know what it was, but I was like, what would happen if I signed up for like a powerlifting meet? I was just looking for something to just do. And then I signed up for one that was in the beginning of January of 2013. I didn't really know it was powerlifting. I never squatted before either because I was just a bro. So I just did fucking like push-pull type of shit. I competed. I really fell in love with the sport of powerlifting. And then I was like, dude, I this is super cool. I wish there was a gym that had like powerlifting where you were able to do that kind of stuff. And then so at that time, I don't know if you guys remember these like fitness OGs, but me, Han Champion, and Ice One Cube, two other like jacked Asian dudes, we were like, dude, what would happen if we open a gym together? And then we could have a place to train. And because like Frank, who was Ice One Cube, is super into CrossFit. And if you don't train at a CrossFit gym, they're the type of places that will, like everywhere else, will kick you out. Because he's doing fucking like handstand walks, like double unders and shit, making hella noise, where most commercial gyms, it's like pretty quiet, you know? And then Han, he's like a hardcore bodybuilder, so he's like banging like heavy ass weight all the time. I was a powerlifter, so you have to drop weights all the time. There's just no place that was kind of conducive to that kind of training. And it was kind of hard to keep this project going because Frank was a full-time engineer. Han was he lived in Texas, so he was going to manage it part-time. So the idea kind of boiled down real small. And then this is when we had the JK office in Monterey Park, where I was like, okay, the idea went from like this small to like this big, went right back down to this small. I still really like this idea. And I was like, what if I just got a container and just parked it outside of JK? Because you know how our parking spots are like, they're pretty long because they're made for containers. Then I would just get like, if all of us just chip in like a couple $100, then I can have like a combo padlock on there and all of us could just come in and train whenever we want. And just through text, I had like 30 people tell me they're in. I'm in. I'm like, what the fuck? Holy shit. And I was like, wait a minute. Maybe this could be an actual gym then. So that's when I pitched the idea to Gio, and then now looking back, we were like, dude, what the fuck were we thinking? None of us have any personal training backgrounds or any history or experience in gym operating business, and we wanted to start a gym. Which is, if you think about it, it's crazy. It'd be in the jiu-jitsu equivalent. It'd be a white belt going, I'm going to open a jiu-jitsu school. It'd be like that, you know? And we're like, what the fuck were we thinking? And so we just went to Barnes & Noble, got a business plan book because we did everything online, don't know anything about brick and mortar. And we just completed it. And we're just like, you know what? We'll just let the universe tell us no. So every day, at that time, we used to meet at 11 a.m. for JK to meet and write and like do all our skits and stuff. So from 10 to 11, just 1 hour before, me and Gio would meet 1 hour every single day and just kind of progress on the business plan book. And we're like, if there is a hurdle that's big enough that's going to stop us, then we'll just stop. And we'll just keep going and see what happens. And we went through the city hall process, getting things approved, whatever, and nothing ever was a big enough hurdle that was like, okay, we really have to stop this. So October 1st, 2013, we opened Barbell Brigade, the first one, and it was in the same, office park as JK down the street. Those days are fucking cool because we would film whatever and just go straight there.
Yeah.
Everyone could go work out, come back. It was just literally like you could pop your head out and like hear like weights clanging in the back, clanking in the background. So that was cool. I would say at that time, my income was still way heavily JK skewed. Because that thing was like a baby, and I took a loan from my aunt. I borrowed 50 G's to buy equipment from my dad's sister, so I had to pay that back.
Did she charge interest?
No.
Wow.
But her husband's cool. Her husband's the one that loves Alfredo, and then he fucking shit himself. But anyways, he loves chicken Alfredo.
He's lactose too.
Much cream.
Fuck, I know I'll pay for it later.
Pretty sick reputation to have.
But her husband loves chicken Alfredo.
And then so I think then people start asking for merch. So a lot of the stuff at the social media times back then, things were really organic, It wasn't really like people like, I think they've seen early social media now and they have this master plan. Back then, it was, you kind of just do what the comment that keeps popping up. Are you guys going to drop merch? I want Barbell Brigade merch or whatever. So everyone thinks like the apparel, everyone thinks like the apparel was like this thing and then the gym came, whatever. It was actually the other way around. Like the gym was the idea, but people wanted merch. And then so we're like, okay, we'll start creating merch. And we started selling merch. And I think 2 or 3 years in, we didn't even realize it because me and Gio so focused on JK. We did have a whole separate team that we built for Barbell. But it kind of like started scaling on its own without us really keeping tabs on it. And I think like 3 years in, it crossed 7 figures on e-commerce.
Wow.
And that's when we're like, wait, what the
Holy
fuck?
moly.
'Cause we keep buying more hoodies and we just sell out. We're not really paying attention to it because we just think, oh, it's just merch, right? And we didn't realize that there's like this actual movement going on because there's the birth of fitness on social media and there's no like true identity or brand that people can kind of like represent, because that era is the birth of the other giants like Gymshark and all those guys, And so we were like, oh shit, what the fuck? This is crazy. And then that's when we started to put a little bit more effort into apparel. And then I don't know when, but we crossed like the 2 million mark. And we didn't really even pay ourselves really because I just kind of adopted the JK model. I think like you just keep pushing and you never really even look at your finances. And then you don't think about, and when you're young at that time, you also don't think about long-term. What about retirement? You just think about money and you go, oh, it'd be better if you just went to the team to build this. But you don't think about there is going to be one day where your fruit tree dries out. So you hope that you have a lot of canned fruits in the back. You never really think about it in that way. So we just kept pushing. But then eventually, I think as we started to go, okay, we want to build a family or whatever, we started paying ourselves. And I would say like in 2015, we started actually paying ourselves. And then I think my income skewed more fitness. And then with the fitness stuff, it was like, it's a much more like much less of this is from my perspective, much less of a magic show. And maybe you might even feel the same way with Jumbi, because with content, you don't know what's going to be viral or what's going to be good. And you're just kind of doing your best, trying to be as funny or whatever as you can. And you just put it out there, and then you kind of wait for the universe to kind of like repay you, or not pay you, but like pay you back, I guess. But then with e-commerce or business in the other sense, there's actual data. You're like, oh shit, shorts sell really good in the summer. Or like, they really like black hoodies. Let me do more of that. So it's just way more easy to like incrementally build. And then that became kind of like a full-time gig. And then that led to supplements, to us moving out of the old gym into the new gym. And then the fitness industry is its whole other monster because you got to go to all the expos and stuff like that. But yeah, that was like my transition from doing like the comedy stuff and then into more of the fitness.
And you're a fat gym owner for like 4 years.
Yeah, had crazy weight swings. I go fat, skinny, fat, skinny, fat, skinny.
It's great for marketing, though.
Honestly, people, they go, dude, that's fucking genius. I'm like, I did it by accident.
No, it is. Because especially when you sold those
It
programs.
seems like a totally different level of discipline,
Yeah.
like a willingness.
He meant to do it.
Yeah.
But I didn't
I
mean
thought you were
to.
doing it on purpose.
I wasn't.
You were doing it to be like, all right, here's another program that you could use. I'm gonna use it right now. Look
Yup.
at me.
Yeah.
The cool thing was some of them they were, but some of them was just like me living life, and I'm like, oh fuck, I got carried away. I'm fucking over 200 pounds now.
That's dope that it happened to work that way.
It is fitness, though, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like people will fluctuate weight all the time. And sometimes when they see someone like you going through the process, doing it over again and seeing that like all the different iterations of that is like really important.
More realistic example to follow.
Yeah. Because that's
Yeah.
real life,
But you were able to do two things that were pioneering at once.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I think this fool single-handedly brought Asians to the powerlifting game.
yeah.
Percent.
Yeah.
Because before that, it was just like white truckers and stuff.
Because even my cousin's company, they heavily looked up to you. It still do. Kind of fit, kind of fat.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
That's your cousin?
They're still like
Yeah.
every one of them looks at Barbell Brigade as like they put them on the map kind of deal.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I think there were only a handful of powerlifting gyms in all of Southern California.
That was probably like the first hub, right? For powerlifting and
Yeah,
stuff
it
now?
was. Yeah, I would say there's like the old school, and then the new school, and I do think we were the start of it. And it's cool to see like other personalities and people kind of like give us a shout out. Like if you go to Alpha Elite in Houston, Texas, they've done whatever we've done to the nth degree.
Wow.
Because it's a giant campus, fucking like, I don't know even how many acres, maybe 30 acres worth of gym space and shit.
Cost them like a third how much you had to spend in California.
Probably.
Most priceless thing I feel like is to know that you could have played a difference in whether or not some Asian guy out there was fit or not.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking major.
That's true.
Like that changed his whole life.
Yeah.
Because he saw you and went, oh, I guess Asians can be that buff. Like, cool.
I almost wished.
Change the paradigm.
Yeah, I almost wish that like what I experienced, or I think maybe that's what subconsciously I was trying to do. Because the guys that changed my paradigm was the Bally's and Rosemead that me and Joe used to work out at.
They were
The
like
one-
Asian ex-convicts though. Like they were
Is that the one that Buff Dora was at?
Yeah, that's where I met him. It was
Dora.
it was a collection of the buffest Asians you've ever seen. They all came from jail. They're all like
Tong Lee.
he trained at the 24-hour, Monterey Park 24-hour, but all the same city, right? And these guys are like another 10 years older than me, but it was cool to see like those guys who I would consider like, I guess, my OGs.
But I think because you're goofy, it's way more approachable.
Yeah.
Because like some people might see like you could see a buff Asian anywhere really, but it doesn't look like they have the lifestyle that you have.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't look like they're the fact that you still seem like you're not 100% fitness, that you do make time for other things, yet you can still attain that goal. Is impressive.
And I still get fat.
Well, yeah, because people want to be like, they wanted to be like you all around. They didn't want to just be buff. They're like, oh, he looks like he has a great time, Because it seems like you got to sacrifice one for the others.
Yeah, one of the coolest things I heard was from my buddy Russell. Shout out to Russell. He'll probably go down in the history books.
Soul's dope.
That's one of the goats of powerlifting. And he said when he was building his gym and his brand, at their team meetings, they would have replay the making of Barbell Brigade.
That's so funny.
Because we had like a 4-part series of building the gym and just all of our trials and tribulations, us shopping for spaces. This place isn't good. Ordering turf. What is that even like? Because we don't have experience. We're just like, there's no playbook. We're just inventing things out of thin air. Like imagine like someone going, hey, I need you to order like 30 bars and Rogue Fitness doesn't exist. And you're like, how does that even work? We just have to invent it and figure that shit out.
Barbell store.
Yeah, you're like, where do you go to buy barbells? It's like, there's no Amazon during that time. It's like, what the hell do you do? And it was cool for him to like watch it and then get like inspired by it and like kind of be able to take whatever we've done and then surpass it. It's pretty cool.
Bart Swan.
It's cooler than making like Asian kids be like, I want to be a dancer too. It's not the same.
Cooler. No, dancing's more cooler. Dancer's more cool.
Compared to that.
Have like an 8-pack. That's kind of tight.
No, dancer's cooler.
Fitness transcends to everyone.
Anthony's about to go on his fitness arc too. Stay tuned.
Yeah, you're about.
You know what's funny? Hannah's like, every single time I see Chad buff Asian staring at you, she goes, for sure they're JK fans.
Yeah.
And it's because they have a sense of humor from us, but they also have the fitness from Barbell. So
That's probably a lot about what I think people identify with most was the fact you're such a clown.
Just like to fuck around.
Well, because that's how like some people like fitness seemed so serious to me growing up.
Oh.
And I never wanted to do it because it's so serious.
It would like take something out of you.
I'm like,
Change who you are.
it's so intense.
yeah.
Same thing too. Like part of me was like, oh, if I lift weights, I'm gonna be like a fucking robot. I'm not gonna have any personality. I'm gonna lose who I am. But you realize that's fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
The combination was great that it's like you have fitness, you're funny, but the branding is cool.
It's the perfect trifecta.
It's not up its own ass. But it looks really cool.
Because fitness stuff before that was pretty lame.
Like
their
the
taste is
boldness,
bad.
the black, they
Yeah.
look like everything looked like pirate flags.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool, but it's not pretentious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Yeah. Good work.
And now he's a real estate. Now he's a real estate agent. For part 2, we'll see.
Now he's in his Remax mode.
He's breaking barriers.